I am on my couch again today. We had snow last night and it's kind of cold and I just don't feel like going in my studio. I've been sitting on my couch again today with my sketchbook, thinking that I want to do some experimenting today. I found out something and I want to show it to you. I have my little mixed media quick sketches book out. This is a book that I use when I go out urban sketching. But I'm going to flip to the back here. I'm going to flip to a back page here, and I want to show you what I found out. I have not been using my markers in this big bag for a long time, and I got them out the other day, and I was so disappointed that some of these markers are drying up, especially my distress markers. And I know I have not used a lot of them enough that they should all be dry. And I'm going, oh no! And that's really kind of my fault. I do not blame distress markers. These are water-based. They say they're water-based, and if you don't use them for months at a time, well, what do you expect, Mary? But I'm going to pull out just distress markers here. I'm going to test some of these, but I'm going to pull out some Tombow markers and test those. I don't have as many Tombow markers as I do distress markers. So here's the big set of distress markers that I'm going to be testing. And I do not use the fine tip, so I'm not even going to test those. But here's the blue. Now that blue is fairly good. So let's put that over in the good pile. Here's a pink one. When you look at your distress marker, I'll hold it up as close as I can here. See how this has distress, the term distress marker? Tim Holtz. Well, when I pick up my distress markers, I'm always pulling at the fine tip, which I don't use. And then I have to put the cap back on and go to the brush tip. Well, what I found out is the brush tip is always on the word D for distress. So I've gotten into the habit that if I want the brush tip, which I do, I always pull the cap off of the side that has the word distress. That one's fairly good. I'm looking for one that's going dry. Okay, this one's going kind of dry. See how, and let me push my camera down a little bit more. See, okay, so here's the tip that I have. I have this little, these are water-based, and I don't know if anybody else has done this or discovered this, but if I dip this in just a little water first, look at that. I was ready to throw out all these distress markers. Mary, don't throw them out. Now you'll get a little water in your, you'll get a little color off in your water if you do that. And look at the difference. This was going dry. That was going dry. And this is what, when I dipped it in water. Let's try this is milled lavender. Look, you can hardly see it. You can hardly see it on this page. So I'm going to dip it in my water. Well, this one might be actually being used. So this one I would say, yeah, this one's either used completely or going dry completely. So this one I would say is almost ready to be tossed. And I will say that I used milled lavender a lot. So I'm not of a mind to blame the manufacturing of these. You know, when you use your markers, you use them up eventually. But let's see, let's try this one. This one is crushed olive. So it's going dry too. See, I get color off on it, but not quite enough. Then I'm going to dip it in my water just a little bit. Now, this should be fairly obvious. Hey, they're water markers. Duh. But the thing was, I was so disappointed with these. When I pulled them out, I was disappointed with myself that I left them in this big bag for so long and hadn't been using them, that they're starting to dry out. See the difference when you put them in water? I think the water actually thins out these darker ones a little more. But I kind of like that. Let's try the red ones. I don't tend to use red as much, but it is getting sort of dry. Let's dip it in water, see what happens. I like it when I dip it in water. It gives it a nice water-based movement rather than this dry movement. Let's try some of these other shabby shutters. Oh, here's another tip. This I'll do, especially when I know my markers are getting old. And I will say these markers are getting old. I put them through, a couple summers ago. 2012 or 2013, I really used these markers. So some of these tips on here are getting bent. Let's see if you can see that. They're getting bent and used when I mark on it. It's a felt tip, so I just get my scissors and snip it off. Yeah, dip that one in a little water, see what comes. Oh, look. See, this is a good experiment right here. Right here. That was before I dipped it in the water, and that was after. Just a way, if you want to use up the rest of your drying out pens, just a way to get just a little bit more use out of them. So this is just an example of something that you might try. Here's another look at how, I don't know if you can see how frayed that point is. See how frayed that point is? I'm hoping you can see it. I'm going to snip it off with my scissors. Just snip it off. Another thing that when I watched Tim Holtz demonstrate these, a couple years ago, he's always said when you put your cap back on, don't just put it on like that. Make sure you have it. Make sure you have that cap snapped on there, and that'll help keep it from drying out too. That's a Tim Holtz tip. Got that from Tim Holtz. This is a pumice stone. This will probably go pretty light too but I don't really mind that as long as I'm getting that smooth, even color out of it. Now, these are the Tombow ones. I already tested this Tombow. My Tombow ones I'm pretty happy with. The color on them, this is the same here or there. I like my Tombow markers. See how smooth and even and pretty that color is? If I could afford it, I'd get me a whole set of Tombow ones. And these are older markers too. So what is the point of all of this? instead of throwing out all these markers here, I was so disgusted the other day, I just about threw the whole bag away and said, they're done for. Not blaming the ranger at all, because I got a lot of enjoyment out of these markers. They were well worth the price that I paid for them. And I would probably buy them again. I would love to have the newer colors. I will probably buy more of them. I definitely will be buying more Tombow markers. But my point is get to the point where you think your markers are drying out and you're having trouble getting that nice even tone. Just get out a little water and dip the tip of your point in water, and that will, sometimes it'll smooth it out a little bit more, make it a little lighter, but you're still getting a color out of there. You're still using them as much as they can be used. So, before I lose all my markers here, before they all roll away from me, I will say I will see you on the next page.